Have you ever looked into your child's eyes and, for a split second, felt a chill run down your spine because you didn't recognize who was standing there? Or worse, you looked at them and saw, reflected in the expression of an innocent child, the same contempt, the same coldness, or even the same scripted phrases you've heard from the narcissist for years? There is a silent pain, one that few people discuss, but that tears at the soul of anyone trying to protect a family. The feeling that you are losing your child to the toxic influence of the very person who should be protecting them. It's not just rebellion. It's not just a phase. You feel it in your gut. There's a programming taking place. You notice that when the child comes back from his house or spends time under his influence, they return different, more aggressive, distant, confused, or strangely critical of you. And the question that pounds in your head, keeping you up at night, is, how does he do it? How can he turn my own child against me, even though I'm the one who provides, who loves, and who is actually there? What we're going to understand in this video isn't just about bad-mouthing the mother. It goes much deeper than that. The narcissist doesn't just manipulate the child with words. He manipulates the very structure of their reality. He hijacks your child's perception of the world so that his is the only acceptable truth. If you feel like you're in an invisible battle for the hearts and minds of your children, stay with me. We're going to dismantle this engine right now, piece by piece, so you can understand what's happening and know that no, you aren't crazy, and you haven't lost this war. My name is Lauren Mitchell. My purpose with this channel is to show you that the problem was never you, and more importantly, that you are not alone. Let's start by describing the exact scenario that makes you doubt your own sanity. On the surface, to outsiders, judges, teachers, distant relatives, the dynamic just looks like parental conflict, or exes who can't get along. But you know the reality inside the home is brutally lopsided. On one side, there's you, the provider of structure, the one who says no to candy before dinner, who insists on homework, who sets bedtimes, who takes them to the dentist, and who deals with the middle-of-the-night fevers. You are reality, and reality is often boring. It requires boundaries. On the other side, there's the narcissist, and here begins the first layer of manipulation, the creation of the stage parent, or what we often call the Disney dad. He isn't interested in building the child's character. He's interested in the adoration the child can provide. So, on the surface, he removes the rules you fought to establish. If you ban unlimited video games, he allows them. If you prioritize healthy eating, he offers sugar as a reward. But make no mistake, this isn't generosity. This is a bribe. A child, whose brain is still developing, and driven by the principle of instant gratification, begins to associate you with deprivation, rules, and order, which is read as being lame or rigid, and associates the narcissist with freedom, pleasure, and a lack of consequences. You find yourself in an impossible position. If you stick to the rules, you become the villain in his story. If you give in, the child loses their structure, and the narcissist knows exactly how to exploit that gap. He looks at the child, sighs, and says, "Yeah, your mom is really stressed out, isn't she? I'd let you play, but you know how she is." In that moment, the seed is planted. The child begins to feel that the conflict isn't caused by their behavior or his negligence, but rather by your reaction. You, exhausted from carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders, often react with impatience or fatigue, and it is exactly this human reaction that the narcissist puts under a microscope for the child to see. He uses your exhaustion, which he caused, as proof of your instability. The child begins to feel that walking on eggshells around you is necessary, while with him, everything seems, falsely, easy. This is the stage where the manipulation begins to operate, creating a clear split in your child's mind. Daddy is fun and understanding. Mommy is rigid, nervous, and difficult. Now that we understand the setup, we need to dive into the first deep psychological layer, the subtle rewriting of reality. Many victims believe the narcissist manipulates the child through shouting and direct insults against the mother. Sometimes that happens, but the most dangerous and effective manipulation is subtle, the kind disguised as concern or pity. The narcissist uses a devastating technique called gaslighting by proxy. It works like this. Instead of saying your mother is crazy, he says, "Son, we need to be patient with mommy today." She's not doing well mentally. She's been seeing things that aren't there. Let's stay quiet so we don't upset her. Do you see the difference? In this narrative, he positions himself as the child's protector and the rational adult, while pathologizing your emotions. He teaches your child to look at you not as an authority to be respected, but as a patient to be tolerated. This deactivates the child's warning system. If dad were screaming, the child might be afraid of him, but because he's speaking softly, in a tone of fake concern, the child believes he is the safe harbor. Beyond that, the narcissist rewrites the history of events. If you had a fight because he didn't pay child support, or was 3 hours late to pick up the child, he turns to the child and says, "Mommy picked a fight with Daddy because I wanted to take you out and she wouldn't let me." He omits the real cause, his irresponsibility, and invents an emotional cause, the mother's meanness or control. The child who lacks the cognitive ability to understand finances or scheduling logistics only understands the emotional language. Daddy wanted to love me. Mommy stopped him. This engineering of chaos creates cognitive dissonance in your child's mind. They see you taking care of them, but they hear the authority figure, the father, saying you are the problem. To resolve this tension, the child often chooses to believe the narrative that causes the least fear. And ironically, believing that mom is the mean one is less terrifying than realizing that dad is an emotional predator. They manipulate reality so that your reaction to abuse becomes the abuse in the child's eyes. If you cry, in despair, he says, "See, she's unstable." If you yell in frustration, he says, "See, she's aggressive." You are trapped in a game where any move you make is used as ammunition against the maternal bond. Going even deeper, we reach the second pillar, which is one of the cruelest: triangulation and the trauma bond through loyalty. The narcissist cannot relate to anyone in a direct, healthy way. He needs a triangle, and the child is placed at the vertex of that triangle. The child stops being a child and becomes a tool, a messenger, a spy, or a confidant. This happens through the creation of special secrets. The narcissist builds an alliance with the child based on excluding you. "Let's eat this burger, but don't tell mommy, okay? It's our little secret. I bought that gift you wanted, but keep it at my house. Otherwise, mommy will get mad." It might seem innocent, but psychologically, it's a bomb. He is teaching the child to lie to you. He is creating an underworld where he and the child are accomplices against the mother's tyranny. This creates an immense burden of anxiety for the child, who feels torn. They love you, but they've been coerced into betraying your trust to keep his love. Furthermore, the narcissist often reverses generational roles, a phenomenon called parentification. He vents to the child about the problems your mother is causing. He plays the victim, says he's lonely, that nobody loves him, that the mother took everything from him. He turns the child into his therapist and emotional caregiver. The child feels, "Daddy is fragile. Daddy needs me. If I love mommy, I'll be betraying daddy, who is suffering so much." This is a very serious form of emotional abuse. The child feels responsible for the adult's happiness, and to save this victimized father, they feel they must reject the mother. The hostility your child shows toward you is often not their real anger. It's a loyalty test they are offering to the narcissist to try to heal their father or avoid being rejected by him. It's an invisible blood pact. To be loved by me, you must hate who I hate. We now come to the deepest point, the root of the entire problem, where manipulation becomes a matter of identity. This is the concept of identity colonization. You need to understand something fundamental about the narcissistic psyche. To them, children are not independent human beings with their own feelings and thoughts. To the narcissist, the child is an extension of himself, an arm, a leg, a mirror. The narcissist's ultimate goal isn't just for the child to like him, it's for the child to be him. When the child is under this influence, a fusion occurs. The child loses the ability to distinguish where their emotions end and the father's begin. If the father feels anger toward you, the child feels that anger as if it were their own. They adopt the narcissist's mannerisms, vocabulary, political opinions, and even his prejudices. This is why trying to use logic with your child often doesn't work. You say, "But honey, remember when I took you to the park yesterday?" And they respond with a cold, canned phrase that doesn't match the reality you lived. They aren't accessing their own memory. They are accessing the script installed by the narcissist. In this state of fusion, defending the father is a matter of psychic survival. The narcissist has conditioned the child to believe the world is a dangerous place and that he alone holds the truth. This colonization is so deep that the child begins to suppress their own intuition, even if they feel love for you. That feeling is dangerous because it creates dissonance with the father's truth. So they have to kill their love for you inside themselves just to survive in his toxic ecosystem. What you see as bad behavior or ingratitude is actually a defense mechanism of a child whose identity has been hijacked and replaced by the abuser's will. They are in survival mode, trying to please a capricious and punitive God, the father, who demands total sacrifice, and the sacrifice demanded is the bond with the mother. I know how desperate this feels to read. The sense of helplessness is overwhelming. But here is the turning point, the secret the narcissist doesn't want you to know. Truth has a weight that a lie cannot sustain forever. The narcissist's manipulation is based on illusion, fear, and control. Your bond with your child is based on real care, presence, and unconditional love. What should you do? You must not get into the ring and fight the narcissist. If you try to convince your child that your father is a liar, you will only be validating his narrative that you are conflictive. Your strategy must be to become the unshakable safe harbor. Be the anchor. When your child comes at you with chaos, accusations, and scripted lines, do not react with defense or attack. React with curiosity and calm. I understand you feel that way. In our house, this is how we do things. I'm so sorry you heard that, but mommy is here and I love you. You need you to be the contrast. While the narcissist's house is a minefield of anxiety and manipulation, your house must be the place where the child can breathe, where they don't have to be a soldier, where they don't have to choose sides. In the long run, the child grows up, the mind develops, and when they start questioning the world, they will look back and see who was unstable and who was solid, who demanded blind loyalty and who offered freedom. Don't give up on your child's mind, but understand that the battle isn't won with shouting. It's won with a silent, powerful consistency. You are reality. And reality always, invariably, prevails over fantasy. Stay strong. You are the mother. And that invisible thread that unites you is stronger than any manipulation, as long as you don't let go of your end of the rope. Feel free to leave your story, your vent, or even a topic suggestion for the next video in the comments below. Access the link in the description to check out my ebook and the benefits of being a channel member. Click on the suggested video on the screen to stay with me, and remember, you are light. Never forget to shine.